You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
Our voters in Florida are extremely smart, and they will be able to read these amendments and decide for themselves whether this is something they would like to vote for and they would like to see in the Constitution or not.
The first chance in 20 years to change the Florida Constitution. How will it impact life in Florida? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on the revision to the Florida Constitution in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. And they were all legally owned. Sarasota police seizing 8 firearms, including an AK-47 from the man charged with shooting up a condo in downtown Sarasota. The weapons were immediately seized after the fact, following 25-year-old Ryan Flanzer's arrest on Saturday. However, Sarasota police now have a court order to keep those weapons temporarily as part of the new red flags law established by the state's Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Public Safety Act. Flanzer has a court hearing May 18th where he can fight to get his weapons back. If the judge rules in favor of SPD, police will keep Flanzer's weapons for at least a year.
We have additional charges that are going to be placed on the individual, and again, we feel confident that we're doing everything we can under the law to keep our community safe and to keep this individual safe also.
Flanzer has been released from the Sarasota County Jail on bond. Chief DePino says the investigation into Saturday's shooting continues. The Manatee County School District will have to look elsewhere to pay for school safety. Today, Manatee County commissioners voted against additional funding for school resource officers. The county's current contract with the Manatee County School District is about $900,000, which will stay as is. That money helps fund the 16 SROs in the schools now. Today, the district asked the commission to help pay for an additional 31 officers.
So you have the same officer in the building. They build relationships with the principals, the assistant principals, with the teachers, and more importantly with the students and the parents. And we wanted to continue that. We've seen how successful that has been in our middle schools and the high schools at the secondary level, and we wanted to do that at the elementary.
Now the district says it will have to reconvene with the school board, Manatee County Sheriff Rick Wells, to look for other options. Northport police are getting a big pay raise. The commission voting 4-0 today in favor of the pay increase. The department is experiencing a shortage of officers and applicants. Police hope the 15% pay increase will attract more officers to the department. A possible reprieve for a former Sarasota County Sheriff's deputy accused of covering up evidence. Investigators say Carson Lee Plank tried to help Deputy Frank Bybee, who was accused of stealing and trying to kill an elderly woman. Police say Plank not only failed to turn over evidence from the victim's home, but then warned Bybee about the investigation. Prosecutors say Plank can avoid prosecution if she completes a pretrial diversion program. Bybee was sentenced last October to 15 years in prison for kidnapping and other charges. A ceremony this morning at a temporary memorial dedicated to the victims of the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando. It comes nearly 2 years after a gunman opened fire, killing 49 people and injuring more than 50 others at the nightclub. The interim memorial includes more green space, more seats, and a wall full of pictures from the community's response to the attack. It also includes the names of the victims etched into glass. The planning and designing of a permanent memorial are underway. Proposed power plants in Putnam and Pasco counties got the thumbs up today from state regulators, who also expressed concerns about Florida's increasing reliance on natural gas to generate electricity. The Florida Public Service Commission backed applications for the 2 plants. Seminole Electric, which provides wholesale electricity to cooperatives throughout the state, envisions the new plants coming online as it shutters an existing coal fire unit in Putnam County.
It's much more efficient. So natural gas fire generation, the new technology we're looking at, is state of the art, and it's going to allow us to, in essence, produce more energy for the same input, and much cleaner and much more cost-effective for our members.
Natural gas accounts for more than 62% of the state's energy production, with 15%, nuclear at 14%, and renewables like solar around 3%. Workers' compensation rates in Florida continue to drop. The Florida Office of Insurance Regulation has approved an average 1.8% decrease in 2018 rates as a result of the federal tax overhaul approved in December. The reduction will take place for new and renewal workers' compensation policies effective June 1st. This is the second drop in 2018 rates for Florida businesses following a recent 9.3% reduction.
At the end of the day, this is also fantastic for the worker because the workers in the state of Florida need to have coverage, and lower rates ensure and help give more incentives for businesses to comply.
Workers' compensation is a no-fault system meant to protect workers and employers. It is supposed to provide workers who are injured on the job access to medical benefits. Now let's head over to ABC7's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with the first alert forecast. Bob.
Ellen, a hot one today. High temperature 91, 2 degrees shy of a record, but it didn't feel too bad because that humidity was so low, and it looks like it'll stay that way too through the night and the overnight. And pretty calm out in the water throughout most of the day. Then winds picked up as that sea breeze developed, and seas running right around 2 to 3 feet offshore. And looks like the fire danger remains high and will do so until we get some significant rainfall around town. And with that humidity running low and winds a bit breezy out of the northeast tomorrow, it will be very high, so very much in trouble as far as that goes. This is our peak of the brush fire season right now. 83 degrees our current temperature. Lots of sunshine, and then there it is. The humidity 46%, the barometer 2996 up there, and that continues to rise at this hour. Wind still a bit brisk out of the northwest. Now that sea breeze has kicked in. I'm going to take you through time. This is Saturday, the next chance for showers. They'll be scattered about. The European forecast model is suggesting quite a bit of tropical moisture moving up to the north, but this particular model indicating that the low pressure will develop east of the state, and it will still bring us a chance for a few scattered showers and a few thunderstorms, but most of that rain with this particular model east of the state. They're still a long way out, so we'll watch this closely. It may shift a little bit off to the left as the GFS, the United States model, is saying that that low will pop up in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Winds, the sea breeze has developed. You can see that at Anna Maria out of the west-northwest. Out of the northeast, though, in places like Lakewood Ranch and Palmetto.
And we still have to be concerned about brush fire season. Yeah,
this is going to stay with us, I think, and through mid-June, because even when we get into our thunderstorm pattern, we still can get some lightning that can cause the fires.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, this November, you get the first chance in 20 years to change the state constitution. What you need to know coming up next.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $15 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand with no surprises and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 4 times in a row. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317. Go online or visit a Target store today.
I'll be right back. Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Webb.
And I'm Ray Collins. A local college student is still paying back those who helped him when he nearly died of cancer as a toddler.
Tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast, we're going to meet Jake and find out just how people like Dick Vitale helped save his life. John?
A big ridge of high pressure provides us with sunny skies, but a front down to the south is a weekend weather maker. We'll explain.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you. ABC7, the Suncoast's official Florida lottery station.
Every 20 years, we Floridians get the opportunity to revise the state constitution, add a little here, take out a little there. In November, we get to vote on a series of proposals. ABC7's Erica Jackson joins us with what you can expect. Erica.
Alan, thank you. Florida is the only state in the country that asks voters every 20 years to review the Constitution and make changes. The amendments placed on the ballots are picked by the CRC. Their work is done, and the rest is up to you.
You have a chance to really make a difference in the life of all Floridians.
Sarasota County tax collector Barbara Ford Coates will go down in history as one of just 37 members of the 1998 Florida Constitution Revision Commission. She calls it some of the best years of her life.
The feeling and the responsibility is quite significant.
The Constitution Revision Commission only comes around every 20 years. It certainly is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Now Ford Coates is handing the torch off to former Senator Lisa Carlton. She's back in Sarasota full-time after approving revisions to the general election ballot.
Our voters in Florida are extremely smart, and they will be able to read these amendments and decide for themselves whether this is something they would like to vote for and they would like to see in the Constitution or not.
Voters will see a total of 13 proposed amendments on the November ballot, 5 of them coming from citizens' initiatives and legislative resolutions, and 8 from the CRC. The commission had to scale down its 100 ideas to about 20, and instead of overwhelming voters with 24 amendments on the ballot, the CRC bundled those changes into just 8 proposed amendments.
If there are a number of proposals and a person looks at them and believes there's a greater good, even though they're in one amendment, then they should vote for it.
For example, voters will decide if they want to require supermajority approval from College Board of Trustees and governors for the school to raise tuition fees, and require the state to offer free tuition to relatives of first responders who die in the line of duty. Both of those issues are combined in one proposed amendment.
If you're putting together changes where reasonable citizens may want to vote one way on one of those changes and vote a different way on the other change, then I think that's dicey. It's not necessarily fair to the voters.
What they're now calling bundling, it sounds like it's a negative, but I'm not so sure that's accurate.
One idea you won't see on the ballot, a reversal to an amendment passed in 1998. 20 years ago, voters approved a change to the Constitution that opened primaries if there was no choice for voters in their political party. But there was a wording issue, allowing a write-in candidate to close the primary, a technicality Ford Coates missed when she wrote the amendment.
Had any of us known on the Style and Drafting Committee that write-ins would close that primary, we would have added that in 1998.
This Revision Commission 20 years later looked as if they were going to close that write-in loophole, but they didn't. At the end, it didn't get the required votes to go on the ballot.
Carlton says revising the state constitution is a rewarding process, adding now it's up to constituents to research the proposals before the general election.
Ultimately, the voters will be the judge of the amendments, not the commission itself.
This is the first time all amendments had to get 60% of commissioner support to make it on the ballot. Commissioner Carlton says if the proposal can't get support from 60% of the CRC, it likely won't get passed by 60% of voters, which is what is needed to become a constitutional amendment.
Erica, thank you. In a moment, the trapezoid, we don't need to revise it. It is perfect the way it is.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score. It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach. Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
Growing up, my mom was afraid of the water, something she did not want me to feel.
So I enrolled Missy in swim lessons.
It changed my life.
Missy Franklin.
And now you can do the same for someone that you love.
There's nothing more precious than your child's well-being.
So act now, before it's too late.
Make us fly! I'm glad I did.
Thanks, Mom. Visit usaswimmingfoundation.org to find, get, or give a swim lesson.
In life after the military, it's our duty as veterans to have each other's back. I'm retired Colonel Greg Gatson, and it's my mission to help you get the benefits and services you've earned. If you need to file a VA claim, remember these important steps. Submit an online claim through ebenefits.va.gov. Work with an accredited Veterans Service Organization, or VSO. And if you need to attend a VA claim exam, please go. Visit this website to learn what to expect.
Invest in Kids is a $7.5 million project to build a new Boys and Girls Club in South Manatee County. I'm Caleb Grimes, and I was a club kid. It's where I learned important life lessons, leadership, integrity, responsibility, and baseball. Thousands of kids attend the Boys and Girls Clubs, and after years of use, their club is slowly falling apart. Help us invest in kids. Make your donation today.
Welcome back. So every 20 years or so, you get a chance to change the Florida Constitution. Frankly, a lot of folks wish we could do that with the U.S. Constitution. But that's another show. There are 37 members of the Constitution Revision Commission appointed by the governor, the president of the state Senate, Speaker of the House, and Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. But because Republicans control the governor's mansion and the legislature, most members of the commission are Republican. The chairman, the Suncoast's own Carlos Baruf, for the last year, he and other members have traveled the state, gotten input from the public, and have just completed the process of deciding what gets on the ballot this November and what doesn't. A ballot question needs to be supported by 60% of voters to pass. And joining us like he did at the beginning of the commission's work are our Chairman Carlos Baruf and Frank Alcock, a political science professor at New College. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Carlos, this only happens once every 20 years, so did you enjoy the process?
I did enjoy the process, but I enjoy traveling around Florida and meeting a bunch of folks. I've done that twice now. This was less expensive, by the way.
No commercials either, and no speeding tickets?
No speeding tickets.
Okay. When you look at the coverage of the process and the final product, I guess the biggest criticism of it is the bundling of the questions on topics that would seemingly be unrelated to each other. And I remember, and we'll show you, that when we did this show at the beginning of the process, that's one thing that we talked about, and you said this.
I'm curious to see whether or not they take something that they don't think might get to 60% and sort of slap it together with something that sounds very appealing to everybody in terms of gaming it. They don't know what they're doing yet, and it's unfair. You know, Carlos is in a position, he's just managed the whole thing, but it's something to look at in January.
I think you're right. We obviously can do. I don't think Floridians stand for that stuff. They want to know exactly what they're voting on and not tag it on like they do in Washington and Tallahassee with 97 other things. So my inclination is to do single purpose.
I like that inclination.
That's my inclination.
What happened?
Well, the process works, and I don't control the style and drafting committee. So when you made up of a group of 37 individuals, pretty strong-minded, some of them, you let the process go. And we limited the amendments to one or two things in each one, not 15. So I think they did a good job. I think that they worked hard at it, and this is the outcome. And there is some single item things that we put on the ballot.
Right, and we'll go over those too. But when you look at a question or a bundle that includes banning offshore drilling and banning vaping, they are seemingly unrelated as to possibly confusing the voter?
Well, at the end of the day, to me, it's not confusing. The voters are pretty smart. With early voting and such, they have plenty of time to digest. Our stuff will be out in public tomorrow. They have 6 months to get familiar with ours. There's no secret on what they're going to vote for in November. They can study it endlessly.
Frank, this is what you were concerned about at the beginning of this process, and in fact, this did happen.
It's happened with commissions in the past, and I know that there's an efficiency argument out there, and I know this commission has argued that there are some relationships between the bundles that they put out there. And the vaping drilling, I think the rubric, or sort of the message, it's clean air, clean water. But I can imagine there might be some people out there that understand that there are health risks that have been documented for indoor vaping, and they want that ban, but they might not want a drilling ban. I'm not sure how they vote if they have one thing or another. I tend to think that most people are going to default back to the most threatening thing in each particular bundle. And so while you do sometimes package things that are related together that I think you would find most people voting the same way on, and I understand that. You've seen that in the past. I think that on the education bundles, there are a couple of pretty significant changes that are tacked together with things that are pretty popular, and I think that's where the resistance is going to come from.
I agree.
Was there I mean, I know you were not on that subcommittee, but I mean, were these things done deliberately in terms of something that many people would support, but then many people wouldn't support, and that kind of...
I guess you'd have to ask the people in those committees, because I wasn't at those committees. So my understanding is style and drafting, you had to get the votes to get things out of style and drafting in the form they came. So they had to carry a majority in order for that to happen, and it happened. So what you're seeing is a product of a diverse group of Floridians who thought this was the best way to skin the cat.
Frank, does this happen every 20 years when this comes up, the same kind of thing?
I haven't memorized. My understanding, one of the earliest, the first commission did put things that did not go together at all. So this is not unprecedented, and I understand that there is an efficiency argument. I do think there was some log rolling in this commission. So I think on a few of the amendments they did purposely put things together where they knew something was going to get some resistance, going to be a little bit controversial. They tried to package it with something that sounded a little bit better to get it over the hump, and we'll have to see what happens.
Okay, we are just getting warmed up. We'll have much more on the Constitution Revision Commission right after we check the First Alert weather, so stay with us.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
To be able to just get my son here and not think about how we will pay for it, it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 digital media services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 digital media services to give you the right tools to grow your business.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
Our conversation on the Constitution Revision Commission continues right after we get a check on the first look at weather with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. Lakewood Ranch webcam showing just a nice day. A few fair weather cumulus clouds look like little cotton balls coming by from the northeast to the southwest. They were traveling, and then the sea breeze has kicked in, kind of holding them off now. And that sea breeze well east of the interstate in Sarasota County. Air quality index was a little bit on the marginal side today, 97. Yesterday was 95, so it is going up. Ozone, the major pollutant, and can cause problems if it gets above 100 for folks that have respiratory problems, for sensitive folks out there, so keep that in mind. I think we'll get high numbers again tomorrow. We could go into that range. Staying dry through Friday, and that's a result of a large area of high pressure, which is going to be just moving across the state again tomorrow and Thursday, eventually positioning itself east of Florida, which will bring us more of a moisture content and a little higher humidity, and that will also bring us a chance for a few showers and a few isolated thunderstorms over the weekend. That rain chance at 50% both on Saturday and Sunday. I don't think we're going to see a washout at this point for the weekend, but we will see an increase in cloud cover and a little bit better chance for some showers and storms. We could use the rainfall, and there's some indication now we may see a subtropical low develop. A low pressure area will move from Mexico across the Gulf and then kind of skirt up into Florida. It may be on the east side, it may be on the west side. Too early to tell, but it'll be early next week when that happens. I showed you earlier the European forecast model suggesting that low developing on the east portion of the state with the bulk of the rainfall over the Bahamas on Monday and Tuesday, but the GFS is showing that low pressure area kind of popping up and then moving into the eastern Gulf of Mexico with some wraparound moisture there as it heads off toward the west-northwest. So we'll keep an eye on it. Either way, it's going to give us a little bit better chance for some much-needed rainfall here. Well, we're getting some rain down to our south. There's that sea breeze, again showing the sensitivity of the radar. I kind of lowered it, and you can see that that sea breeze is all the way into central Manatee County, east of Lakewood Ranch now, continuing to push off toward the east. A lot of times this may generate storms, but the air is just so dry that we're not seeing much of that. You can see that trough of low pressure, and this is the dry air that you see all across the Gulf of Mexico, right in position. It'll be there Wednesday and Thursday. Eventually, this whole trough scoots off into the Atlantic, and we start to see a return to some tropical moisture. 83 right now. The humidity, that's what's been so nice, 46%. Enjoy it while it lasts. By mid-June, we'll see this number up into the 70 percentile range at this hour. Winds out of the north-northwest at 15. The barometer 2996. That's way up there, and that continues to rise. The high today was warm, 91 degrees, just 2 degrees shy of the record 93 set back in 1929. This morning's low was nice, though, at 64. We have a storm system at the surface moving through the upper Mississippi Valley now, and that is going to cause some showers and storms to break out into Wisconsin. That's where the rough weather is tonight. No major storms across the U.S. at this point. There's a big one, though, moving into Washington and into Oregon tomorrow. And over the eastern seaboard, pretty nice weather, a little trough, a little pressure bringing some light rain showers into West Virginia as well as into parts of Pennsylvania. Look at the highs tomorrow. 86 in Kansas City. It will warm up into the upper 80s to near 90 degrees in St. Louis. It could actually be warmer there than it will be here into Florida. Well, as far as the forecast goes for boaters, it looks good. Seas will be running right around 2 feet with a moderate chop on the bays and inland waters tomorrow. As far as the forecast goes, dry Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just a slight chance for a late day shower or two on that sea breeze front as we see a little increase in moisture. Saturday, 50-50 chance at showers and storms running in through Mother's Day as well. We'll see a mixture of sun and clouds. Temperatures maybe a couple degrees cooler because of the increased cloud cover. And then we'll keep an eye on that system for Monday and Tuesday as the rain chance is still there. Depends upon where that low sets up. Alan will be back with his guest right after this. Stick around.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $15 a month.
You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand with no surprises and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 4 times in a row. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317, go online, or visit a Target store today.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TrueStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TrueStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
I just need a second.
Is your weight holding you back and affecting your health?
Did you see this? Your cousin had a heart attack.
Really?
Excess weight or obesity can be serious, but you can do something about it. Visit yourweightmatters.org. Download the free toolkit to prepare you to speak with a healthcare provider. Your weight does matter. Accept the challenge and take charge today. Visit yourweightmatters.org.
Welcome back. We're talking about the Constitution Revision Commission, and joining us now, like he did at the beginning of this process, is the chairman, Carlos Baruf, and Frank Alcock, a political science professor at New College. I want to move on from the bundling issue, Carlos, but one more question here. One of the other controversial bundling decisions has to do with the education. On one hand, you have something that promotes civic literacy, which who would be opposed to that? But it's bundled together with a question about publicly funded charter schools and exempting some of them from local regulations and accountability, which I would imagine would be a showstopper to a lot of people.
I think that proposal, the way you just said it, is not the correct interpretation. What has happened is that the process is they're trying to create a second way of approving charter schools. Some counties in the state are not terribly friendly to charter school operators, so they make it very difficult to get a charter school open. So what the group that was behind that is trying to do is make a state agency and create competition, because at the end of the day, that agency may carry more credibility.
You know, former Governor Bob Graham has spent a career promoting civic literacy. He actually literally wrote the book on the subject. Okay, his comment was that he's going to end up voting against that amendment because it is surrounded by what he considers to be bad policy.
Well, that's his opinion, and that's why we live in a wonderful country where everybody can have one.
Right.
I think that's going to be one of the most controversial education changes. I mean, it comes down to people trust their local school districts on siting and chartering more so than Tallahassee, and so there's going to be a lot of resistance on that one.
Carlos, what was the one proposal that was the most difficult to deal with, that produced the most public outcry and the most heated debate?
Well, that got on, that it's going to be on the ballot? I would say the one that got the most debate that's not going on the ballot was a loophole one. But certainly, I think that the oil drilling has gotten tremendous support. I mean, from all of the, all the.
Where did that come from? This is a very different state than the one that I recollect from 2010. What happened?
Well, I think the reality is that we recognize that tourism is our biggest industry.
Tourism was our biggest industry in 2010.
No,
something has changed.
Agriculture was biggest industry in 2010. Tourism took over in about 2015. So it is our largest and then there's also the fact that there's not a lot of oil in Florida.
Yes, I know that.
Okay, so
he wrote the book on that.
Okay,
yes,
exactly. So
we all knew that in 2010.
Exactly.
Too.
So the difference is the environment has changed, and we recognize that it is an important thing to do.
You brought up the issue of the loophole, and to our viewers watching this right now, this is an arcane part of election law in Florida that up until now, if there is, let's say you have a race for whatever office and there are only 3 Republicans running in the Republican primary but no Democrats, anybody can vote in the Republican primary for those 3 candidates unless somebody signs up to be a write-in voter.
Or an independent, right.
And I know a lot of Republicans and Democrats together who wanted to get rid of that. This was the opportunity. The commissioners who were there, 20 years ago said it was a mistake, it was a loophole. Why did that not get fixed?
Good question, because I voted for it, so.
Yeah,
the answer.
I mean, it wasn't something, the loophole was created, I think, as a political stunt. So I think it's a good change. It's a modest, good governance change that should be approved or put before the voters on the merits. But if you disagree on the merits, I still think there's a principle here. This is a change. The intent of the last Constitution Revision Commission was not to include write-in voters. That's not competition. It was approved by the voters. I think everybody knows that it was it's a political stunt with the intention of parties keeping control. It's not necessarily just Republican parties, Republican and Democrat, but it was something that it took 20 years for us to fix, and it looked like it was going to get put before the voters again. And so having that not make the threshold is, I think, for me, one of the biggest disappointments.
Frank is completely right, but the one thing I want the viewers to understand is that both sides, the Republicans and Democrats, the Democrats fought to make sure this didn't get passed, by the way, because I was there watching the debate.
But I know of at least some cases, one in Sarasota County, one I believe in Pinellas Hillsborough County, where the current system kind of wreaked havoc in terms of an election coming up.
It happens.
It's a shame. I'm disappointed in the commission for not voting it. And Carlos is right. The 3 Democrats out of the 37 that were on the commission, they cast some votes against this as well.
Greyhound racing, Carlos, you said earlier today that was one of the proposals out there that really resulted in the most heated kind of debate.
It was, and it was in every city, which I thought and some of them were repetitive, the same people, but there was new people in every city from both sides. So you sit there and you listen to testimony and you go, this can't be all bad. Why, why are these animals not being taken care of? And you go back and forth and you're putting 3,000 people out of work, because that's how many people rely on racing in the state of Florida. So that's a lot of people. But it was very passionate.
So where do we go from here? Obviously, this is going to be on the ballot for voters in the fall. Does the commission go out and try to educate the public, campaign for these proposals?
I don't know if campaign is as much as educate, and we've offered ourselves to talk, to come here and talk to you and educate the public about the process. And our website will be completely uploaded tomorrow with the proposals, and we're going to stay open for business till November.
How are they going to be numbered?
6 through 13.
So they're just going to extend after the first 5?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And Frank, what kind of
I actually have them.
And what kind of campaigns are going to pop up likely from different interest groups to either defeat or try to get these proposals passed?
A very good question, Alan. I think you're going to have certain interest groups. I imagine there's going to be campaigns on both sides of the Greyhound issue. I imagine the Florida Petroleum Council will push back on the drilling one.
The charter school.
The education FEA is going to be resistant. Not only is it charter school, but the supermajority votes for increasing fees. They'll be pushing back on that one. Where do some of the broader Republican or Democrat groups go in terms of a message for the entire slate? I don't know. It's just too big and too complicated. And in addition to the 8 amendments, including the bundled ones that the CRC has put on the ballot, you've got another 5. And I think actually in terms of significance, at least 3 of the first 5 might be more significant than the ones that the CRC put on there. So there's going to be a lot on the ballot.
And how much money is likely to be spent on pushing or opposing these questions?
A lot. I don't know. Actually, on any particular amendment, I'm not so sure this is going to actually match what we've seen on some of the really controversial changes in some of the other ones.
Collectively, you're going to see $30 million.
Okay.
Collectively.
You know, Carlos, Florida is the only state that does this way. Is this the best way to revise a state constitution to better reflect the times?
I think every state should have this process because it does give an opportunity to stay modern. As you know, there's 3 ways to change our constitution, right? And this is just one of them. But this is the one where the public has the most input, and you don't have to be, you don't have to be in the know in Tallahassee to move an agenda item.
All right. We have to take a quick break, and we'll be back for final thoughts in a moment. Stay with us.
I took my first handful of pills, and that's when all my priorities seemed to change.
He would ask to use the bathroom in other people's homes.
He just assumed that they would have medication.
He'd go in their medicine cabinets and steal prescription drugs.
I wish I knew really what these prescription pills were.
We were so naive about the whole drug thing.
These are all synthetic forms of heroin.
Keep your medication locked up because you'll never notice that a pill is gone.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Are you a soccer mom or dad? Regardless of their age or experience level, when your kids play soccer or any other sport, there's one person on the sideline who is key to help recognize and seek medical care for sports-related concussion. It's you. You need to know the signs and symptoms of concussion, and you need to act if you think your child has been injured. Remember, when in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004.
I'm Deshauna Barber. In 2016, I was proud to win the title of Miss USA. What makes me just as proud is my service in the U.S. military. In the service, a soldier gains skills and learns values like discipline and leadership. That makes them an asset to any business that hires them. If you're an employer, on behalf of Coalition to Salute America's Heroes, remember to hire smart and bet on a vet. Visit saluteheroes.org or call this number to learn more.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
And our guests join us right now for final thoughts. So, Frank, you are the interested observer. This has kind of been like a hobby for you for the last year. Now that you have seen what the product is, what are your thoughts?
Yes, so I've been working on amendments or trying to communicate them to the public in a nonpartisan way with the Collins Center for Public Policy before they went defunct. So it's a passion for me, and I think the message is Floridians are going to have to invest some time this year because they're going to have more potential changes to the Constitution on the ballot than they've seen, most of them in their lifetime here. And so we're going to have 13 different amendments, but there's going to be bundles. So 25 substantive changes to the Constitution, and it's going to take some time to understand what's involved in each one of these different amendments. And so there'll be some resources out there, but you're not just going to be able to walk into the booth cold. You're going to have to put some time in to understand what's on the ballot this year.
Carlos, did this turn out the way that you had hoped? Because this is a massive undertaking, and the number of potential questions out there were probably enormous, and you whittled it down to something that is still, critics would argue is kind of confusing in some cases.
Well, I found the process actually worked, and the group worked so well together. Even though there was differing views, and very strong differing views, the way it worked, it was the collegial way that our Congress and all of our political bodies should work. So I'm proud of that. There was no drama. And we got some things that are good. Did you get them all? No. But we got some things that I think the public will support and will make Florida a better state for the future.
You know, Frank said that voters are going to have to put some work into this. What is your recommendation in terms of about how people should go about this? Because even when you're talking about who's running for what office, people, you know, kind of decide late and maybe don't read up as much as they should be, and now this is a whole other area.
Well, as you know and Frank knows, voting has changed. Over 50% of voting is done early voting these days. So people have more time to sit in their living room and study the ballot and the issues on the ballot. So I think the public has a better opportunity, and our product goes out tomorrow, so they'll have 6 months. They'll have 6 months to study what we're proposing. So they don't have to wait till the day of the first Tuesday in November.
Frank, any predictions what passes and what doesn't?
I think, and it's not such a bad rule of thumb, I think some of these bundles will be judged upon the weakest component of the bundle, or the thing that voters are most resistant, and they'll ignore other things that could have gotten through had they not been bundled.
All right, we have to leave it there. Before we go, we want to share with you what some of you had to say about last night's show on cell phone outages. About a month ago, Floridians who use Verizon, ranging from Tampa to the Suncoast, lost cell service for hours. Many of us are so dependent on our phones, losing cell service can make you go just a little bit crazy. We asked you on Facebook about what your backup plan is when you lose cell service. Michelle says, this is why I still have a landline. Those cell phone towers will be the first to go. And Steve says, go out and enjoy the peace. Hear, hear. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation on tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com.abc7. And FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. We want to thank our guests for being here tonight, Chairman Carlos Barouf and Frank Alcock, a political science professor at New College. When we return, we'll have a final look at your first alert weather, plus President Trump announcing the U.S. will be withdrawing from the Iran nuclear deal. What does that mean for our relationship with other countries? Stay with us.
Since 2004, Embracing Our Differences has used the power of art and education to promote diversity. One way it accomplishes this is through its annual outdoor exhibition of 45 billboard-sized works of art, each accompanied by an inspirational quote. Join us in creating a community that is inclusive for all, where differences are embraced and individuality is celebrated. We invite you to celebrate the voices and visions of diversity and inclusion at this year's exhibit at Sarasota's Island Park.
You now have the power to prioritize your Facebook feed and get local news and information from the team you trust. Go to the ABC7 Sarasota page on Facebook. Give us a like, then click following and choose See First. That's it. Customize even more by choosing notifications. Choose breaking news, posts, live videos, anything you want to see in real time. Take control of your newsfeed and stay connected to what's happening in your community with ABC7 on Facebook.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffrey Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard serve to give back to their country and communities. Their part-time commitment qualifies them for an array of benefits, such as affordable health and life insurance benefits, education benefits, including tuition assistance, student loan repayment and GI Bill programs, a retirement plan based on part-time service, and VA home mortgages. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about all the benefits available in the Army National Guard.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. A beautiful day it was today. Lots of sunshine, just a few clouds late this afternoon. As a result of the daytime heating, the highs today were above average in the low 90s. Our normal high right around 85 degrees, so well above the average, just 2 degrees shy of setting a record. As far as our futurecast is concerned, that frontal boundary which brought us the rain over the weekend is well to the south and east of our area. A few showers, spotty at best, are possible over Florida. Not a lot of rainfall anticipated, though, as a result of the dry air that's in place in the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere, and that will stay that way through Wednesday and even into Thursday. You can see a few clouds along the east coast. Now we're going to see this high pressure ridge shift to the east of the state on Thursday, and we'll start to see more of an east to southeasterly wind. So some of this moisture you see here will eventually work its way back in toward our direction. Expect the humidity to be on the increase on Friday and especially over the weekend. You can see again, not much going on across South Florida even, as that high pressure will dominate the weather along with that drier air. So stay dry through Friday, and then we'll see a chance for showers and a few isolated thunderstorms possible over the weekend. Right now, the models are starting to back off a little bit on that rain. We'll see how it plays out on the next forecast runs on Wednesday and Thursday. But we do expect some sort of low to develop either east of the state or west of the state, which will bring us either way a chance for showers and a few thunderstorms on Monday and Tuesday. Right now, the Titan radar picture indicating no rain around here, some showers winding down over South Florida. You can see that sea breeze is now well inland, so things have cooled. Really nice evening up and down the coast right now with temperatures into the upper 70s to low 80s at the area beaches. The water vapor content shows that moisture content not here at all. And very dry conditions in the mid to upper levels. We're talking 20 to 30,000 feet above us. It's staying dry, so no shower activity expected until that moves out of here. And that does not move out of here until, as I mentioned, Friday. 83 degrees the temperature currently at the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport. And the barometer is on the rise. Winds out of the north-northwest at 16. This is an extended forecast. Now we'll take you through time on Sunday. This particular GFS is showing a better chance for showers and storms scattered about. This is the latest run now, so it is still showing that potential for showers and storms developing with a little area of low pressure developing in the eastern Gulf of Mexico, and then bringing us a chance for showers again on into Monday and Tuesday as we get some wraparound moisture there in the afternoon and evening. So hopefully it will help us out in this high fire danger, but a lot of times when these storms develop this time of year, they do generate lightning strikes, which can in turn spark fires. So that will be a danger, I think, next week too. The low pressure area to see here staying well to the north of us. A little trough of low pressure moving through West Virginia all the way down into Tennessee. For boaters tomorrow, east winds will start the day off 5 to 10 knots. Not bad at all. Seas running right around 2 feet. Now those winds will pick up late in the afternoon and evening like we saw today as that sea breeze kicks on in. Now the extended forecast checks in like this. So dry on Wednesday, Thursday, even Friday, just a slight chance for a shower or two late in the day. As we enter into the weekend, though, the clouds move in, a chance for a few scattered storms here and there on Saturday afternoon and evening, Saturday night, and into Sunday now. And we'll keep just a 30% chance for a few showers on Monday and a little bit better on Tuesday. Temperatures back down to more seasonal averages beginning on Sunday. Alan will be back with primetime headlines right after this. Stick around.
Rugs as Art. You know the name. You know the building. But do you know what's inside? Yes, Rugs as Art is Florida's #1 area rug superstore. But there is so much more. Amazing furniture, accessories, and art. All this and more. Come see for yourself. You'll love our personal touch and be pleasantly surprised by our affordable prices. Rugs as Art and more. There is so much more to explore.
Ever since I can remember, I've been intrigued by industrial design and the optimization.
Wait, that's passion? Ever since I can remember, my passion has been industrial design. We need 3D printers for Miss Adams' engineering program so that we are ready to solve 21st century challenges.
Impressive. Think It Up is a new initiative to support student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classroom today? Think It Up.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. Gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. Yeah, Dad. We're getting so wet.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
Checking primetime headlines, a stunning announcement from the president. Despite the pleas of allies, the U.S. is withdrawing from the Iranian nuclear deal. ABC's Tara Palmieri has more from Washington.
President Trump pulling the U.S. out of the multinational Iran nuclear deal.
The United States will withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal. In a few moments, I will sign a presidential memorandum to begin reinstating U.S. nuclear sanctions on the Iranian regime.
The sanctions not just punishing Iran, but U.S. allies who trade with them.
Any nation that helps Iran in its quest for nuclear weapons could also be strongly sanctioned by the United States.
The deal was one of the diplomatic accomplishments of the Obama era that President Trump said didn't go far enough.
The deal does nothing to constrain Iran's destabilizing activities, including its support for terrorism.
Claiming that they have evidence that Iran has not lived up to their end of the deal.
We have definitive proof that this Iranian promise was a lie.
The White House, citing Israeli intelligence, said the Iranians were still secretly developing nuclear weapons when they entered the agreement. At the same time, the president about to embark on another nuclear deal with North Korea. It's unclear how pulling out of this deal will affect the next one, but he said that his Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, will be in North Korea over the next few days, laying the groundwork for the summit. Democratic Senate leader Chuck Schumer said the Iran decision jeopardizes a deal with North Korea.
You're probably making it harder to come to a North Korea deal.
French President Emmanuel Macron, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and British Foreign Minister Boris Johnson all made trips to Washington in the past few weeks to try to save the deal, but their arguments didn't work. Today, French President Emmanuel Macron tweeted that France, Germany, and the UK, quote, regret the U.S.'s decision. Tara Palmieri, ABC News, Washington.
New York's Attorney General has resigned. Eric Schneiderman resigning after a report in The New Yorker accusing him of assaulting multiple women. 4 women say the outspoken Democrat was physically violent with them. 2 of the women said the violence happened while they were in romantic relationships with him. Governor Andrew Cuomo called for his resignation after the report. Manhattan's DA's office says it has opened an investigation. He has denied allegations on social media. That's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Good night.